Hi, Pastor David Burt here. Thank you for joining me on this midweek meditation. Glad to have you join us. Here we are, almost through the end of January already. The first month of a new year is almost behind us. That's sort of incredible to me. You know, as Christians, we often talk about the value of prayer. The Apostle Paul encouraged his readers to pray without ceasing. Early on, I shared in worship service my New Year's resolution, and that was to listen more and to pray more. Last week, we had a 28-hour prayer vigil as we prayed for our country and our new elected leaders. Rod Edmonds last week in his midweek message reminded us that prayer is vital to us. He told us how Jesus would withdraw from the crowds from time to time in order to spend time in prayer. The world was clamoring around Jesus, but he knew the importance of listening to God's Spirit. Now, we've also just started a new series of sermons focusing on the book of Psalms, the Psalms which are poetic prayers of peace, or prayers of lament, or prayers of intercession. Now, the season of Lent starts soon, the middle of February. Lent is that season that leads us up to the celebration of Easter, very much like the season of Advent prepares us for the coming of Christ at Christmas. Often the season of Lent is a time of introspection, of deepening our spiritual life. And so this Lenten season, I invite you to join me in a 6-week study of prayer. We'll be using as our guide this book, Listen, Praying in a Noisy World, written by Bishop Reuben Job. There are short daily readings here, opportunities for you to pray your own prayers. Now, you can order your own book from the Cokesbury online bookstore or from Amazon. We'll meet each week on Wednesdays at 2 o'clock via Zoom in order to discuss this book. Now, even if you don't have the book, you're invited to join us, okay? I promise you a rich experience, one that will deepen your own prayer life. You know, because I'm a pastor, many people think that I'm an expert on prayer. I pray, but sometimes I don't have the words to say. How best can I pray for someone, or maybe even myself? I'm in no ways an expert on prayer. And like you, perhaps I also struggle with prayer. Even finding time to pray is sometimes hard. It's a noisy world with 24-hour news channels, social media, the sounds of traffic on our streets. It's hard to escape the cacophony of noise that surrounds us. But in the midst of it, we can pause and listen to the Spirit of God speak to us. The Apostle Paul wrote to the church in Rome about the Spirit helping us pray. Now remember, Rome was the largest, busiest city in the ancient world. So hear these words from the 8th chapter of the letter to the Romans. Likewise, the Spirit helps us in our weakness, for we do not know how to pray as we ought. But that very Spirit intercedes with sighs too deep for words. And God, who searches the heart, knows what is the mind of the Spirit, because the Spirit intercedes for the saints according to the will of God. We know that all things work together for good for those who love God, who are called according to God's purpose. You know, I take great comfort in those words. I don't have to be an expert. I don't have to have all the right words. I don't even need to know what would be best that I should be praying for. I just need to ask God to provide what's best. And even when those words get stuck in my throat, that's okay. The Spirit hears and knows what's on our hearts and prays for us. So, order your own book. Listen, Praying in a Noisy World from Bishop Reuben Job. Like I said, you could either get it online from Cokesbury, or you can also find it on Amazon. And then join us. We'll have our first session together on Wednesday, February 17th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Be looking for the email with the Zoom link so that you can join me. I look forward to seeing you for our class, Listen, Praying in a Noisy World. So why don't we take a moment and do just that right now? Would you pray with me? Oh, gracious and loving God, thank you for wishing a relationship with us. You love us, you call us to serve you and others, and you desire to be in dialogue with us, where we can share with you what's on our hearts and minds, and where we can listen, even in a noisy world, to your Spirit speaking to us. Help us to realize your complete acceptance of us. We don't have to know all the perfect prayers, but just pray and speak from our own hearts. Thank you for this opportunity to do that right now. Bless all of those who are watching this video. Bless those who will join us in our upcoming class. Thank you for your love that continues to surround us each and every day. I pray this in the name of Christ. Amen. Well, thank you, friends. Look forward to seeing you soon. Don't forget to join us on Sundays for our worship service on our YouTube channel at 10 o'clock each and every Sunday morning. Love you. Take care.